So we were dragging our professionals that we were paying, we were dragging them along, and instead of them leading the way. Hi, my name's Devon. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way, I only know the hard way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. I'm Devon Dickinson, and today I want to talk to you about if you know more than you're a lawyer, accountant, real estate professional, then it's time to fire them and get a new one. And this is very important because, listen, you're going to outgrow some relationships in your life. And I'm going to give you a very real example. I had accountants that I used for years, right? They were my personal accountants to start. And every year I'd talk to them and I'd meet with them. And they did a great job in the beginning, right? But then I started running the companies and I thought, well, geez, you know, they do my personal stuff. I'll have them do my professional stuff too. And in the beginning, no problem at all, right? But as the company grew, I started to realize that I feel like I'm outgrowing my accountants a bit, right? And I feel like, geez, they're not prepared to service me and to service the folks in my finance department the way that we need. I've noticed that I think in some ways, I know more than they do. The minute that happens, it's time to get rid of them. And I tell you this because I didn't do that. I made the mistake of keeping them around probably for 6 years longer than I should have. And let me tell you, in my mind, I thought it's going to be so painful to get new accountants that I don't want to do it because, you know, they have all our historic stuff. I don't have to re-educate them. My wife's comfortable with working with them. My people are comfortable with working with them. It's just too much of a hassle to change, even though I know they're not great. Too much of a hassle. Well, I can tell you that was a mistake on twofold. Number one, we lost a lot of money because they didn't do our stuff right. Like there were deductions, there were write-offs, there was stuff that like they just had no idea. And so I found out when I finally got rid of them that they had done some stuff wrong. We had to go back and refile and actually got money out. But the cost of refiling, I was like, oh my goodness, Devin, why didn't you make this decision earlier? The other part was just the pure headache of dealing with people that were in over their head, right? So we were dragging our professionals that we were paying, we were dragging them along and instead of them leading the way. And that's what these professionals should be doing. This is true for an attorney that I had as well. I was dealing with an attorney, again, that I had started off with years ago, and he'd done some work for me and was doing a pretty good job. But as you know, the company progressed and we got more and more people and more legal issues and more contracts, I realized that I was going through contracts and catching things that he wasn't. I was getting billed, I don't know, $500 an hour at the time. And I'm going, wait a second, you're charging me $500 an hour. Why am I catching your mistakes? And I realized, wait, not only am I paying for you to catch your mistakes, I'm having to double check your work. And holy cow, what happens if there's something that I don't know? I'm expecting you to know. And now I'm finding out that I know things that you don't know, or I'm looking at things in ways that you're not thinking of, and I'm paying you to be the professional here, and I'm dragging you along. Listen, it's time to get somebody new. So I had to upgrade that as well. And I'm going to tell you, it is painful. But this is the process of being an entrepreneur. You're going to outgrow a lot of things in life, right? You're going to outgrow relationships. You're going to outgrow certainly professional relationships. You're going to outgrow vendors. And we get lazy all too often as an entrepreneur and just decide to stay status quo because the change is too hard and I've got to onboard them and they've got to get used to us and I got to get used to them and it's going to take a bunch of time. And all of that is true. It is going to take a bunch of time. It is going to be a hassle. But what you would rather have is you would rather take that time and that hassle today than pay for mistakes later down the road while you're paying your professionals and you end up in a bad situation. Right now, I guarantee you're thinking of things like, oh boy, I wish I hadn't listened to this episode because I got to get rid of my accountants. Oh boy, you know, my real estate professional that I've used for years, they just aren't cutting it, right? And I've got to find somebody new and I've got to get comfortable with somebody new. And that's okay. That's why we have this podcast, is to challenge you to do the hard things. I'm Devon. This is Whiteboard Entrepreneur. I really hope this helps.